Welcome to the Manifestation Pod. We're Sam and Louise, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.
Every 2 weeks, we're diving into a new well-being, self-care or self-development topic that we've used to manifest a life of joy.
We want you to join us on this journey. We are all about building a community of people who are ready to do the same, manifest their best life, one step at a time.
So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and let's get started.
Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of the Manifestation Pod with me, Sam Fillingham, and Louise. Hi, Louise.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. We are slightly later than billed for this episode. I think we meant to do one before Christmas, and then Christmas happened, and here we are. Anyway, it's January. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Oh, and we are talking about goal setting today, which is always very on point for this time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good time to do it. January. We've had lots of time to think about it because we've had a massive Christmas break. So yeah, we're all good to go for the new year.
It's exciting. You said before we joined that you had set an audacious goal and you didn't tell me what it was. So should we start there? Should we just start talking about our goals for this year?
Yeah, so I'll tell you my starting point for setting goals. So I listened to a Mel Robbins podcast, possibly before Christmas, and she talks about goal setting, not for the new year, just generally. Oh, it might have been for the new year, actually. Anyway, not important. But what she was saying was, it was for the new year. Look through your phone at all your pictures from last year and look at things that you really enjoyed doing, things that you didn't like doing so much, and use that as a basis for your goal setting. So do more of the stuff you love, do less of the stuff you hate. So it was continue, stop doing things, and then start doing new things as well that you want. So I kind of did that as my goal setting. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 goals for this new year, which seems slightly bonkers. However, some of them are, so my first one is continue swimming or walking. So I don't need to do anything for that. I'm just carrying on doing what I did last year. One of them is being more present with my child, which I try and do all the time. Some of them are so basic that I can just carry on doing those. Do some strength exercising. I've not started that yet, but it's on my goals list. Make a book nook for the house. I want somewhere really cozy to read. So yeah, I've got like a mix of goals. But my audacious goal, and it's a big one, I want to make £1 million and I've got a 5-year plan on how to do it.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is awesomely audacious. I love
Isn't
it.
it? But it feels, I think, because I've been thinking about it for the last 3 weeks maybe, and I've done a bit of a plan of how it's going to work. Although saying it out loud feels like slightly bonkers, because my plan is baby steps to get there and bite-sized chunks. I feel it's quite achievable. Can I say that? Can I say it's quite achievable?
Yeah, absolutely. As you should. This is a manifestation pod. We achieve our
This is
dreams and strive for big things. So absolutely,
Yeah,
everything is possible.
that's kind of what I thought. I mean, my first goal was £1 million at the end of the year, but when I sit and did a plan for it, I just can't do it. I'm a big believer in stretching yourself, but I don't want to put something down that just isn't going to happen, and it absolutely isn't going to happen. So yeah, I've got a 5-year plan for that. So obviously we're on year 1, and I've got stuff to put in place. So I've started on that, but I've got a plan for like the next couple of months. It's very exciting.
That's awesome. That's really, really good. I like
Yeah.
that. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, that is good. And alongside that, I'm doing some journaling, which I think might turn it into a book because another good thing was I thought if I do get it within 5 years, this journaling could turn into a book called How to Make $1 Million Within 5 Years, which might make me a bit more. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, brilliant. See, you're already deriving multiple streams of income from just starting to think about this goal. So,
Absolutely, yeah. And journaling is something that I've never really got into.
mm,
Oh my God, it's so good. It
mm,
clears your mind and makes you kind of laser focused on where you need to be. And when you've got, I don't want to say a problem, but a stumbling block, let's say, when you write it out, you can just see the way forward.
it is really, really powerful, isn't it?
Do you do it?
I'm off and on with journaling. I don't do it unguided a lot of the time. I tend to do it when I land in, like, say, I do my weekly spiritual group. We do a lot of journaling in there. Uh,
Right.
so people prompt me with questions. But yeah, it doesn't come naturally to me, but I do see the power of it. And sometimes when I journal, like things come out of my head that I've not even thought of that just blow my mind sometimes when if you get into like a zone with writing and journaling and stuff comes up that you weren't even aware of, like it's quite powerful.
It really is. So when I started this at the beginning of the year,
Mm.
one of the things I had in my head, and this was a combination of, so we've not done the pod, have we, for, I don't know, a month
Mm.
probably. I was ill before Christmas, so I had a week off sick and I was really ill. I didn't get out of bed for 4 days. I had full blown flu, possibly COVID. Then we had Christmas, which was lovely, but I've had absolutely zero routine, and zero routine does not suit me well at all. Um, so I've been feeling it, and I've been on Facebook a lot. I've actually come off it now because that isn't good either. So I think it's a combination of things. And I started really thinking about life and where I think I should be at my age. And one of my friends has just bought a massive house with a new partner, and I was just feeling a bit like, oh.
Mm.
So when I started journaling about that, just as part of my how to make 1 million in 5 years, and one of the things I wrote was I put how I was feeling, which wasn't very positive or good, really, but I just wrote it down and thought I'll go with it. But one of the answers that came out of my journaling was this life hasn't happened to me, I've chosen it. I could have settled down in my 20s. Well, I did settle down in my 20s. My mortgage would have been paid long ago by now. I could have chosen a different path, a more conventional path, but I didn't. And I need to remember that. I need to not lose sight of that. And that's one thing that's really come out of journaling. I was like, right, my path might not be conventional, or even there's certain people that just don't understand it, but it's mine. And I stand by it, and I do it for the right reasons. I do it to live the life that I want to live. And I think it's important we all do that. Remember that our path is our path. Comparison is the absolute thief of joy, and not to compare to other people, because they're on a journey sometimes that you were on and you've come off it because you didn't want that. And it's really important not to lose sight of that. So that really came out of my journaling, and that was really, really powerful and really positive as well.
That's really good, really good. And I think coming off social media really helps with focusing
Mm.
on yourself and staying in your own lane, doesn't it? Like I found
Absolutely.
massively. I deleted Instagram before Christmas and I've not reinstalled it. And I can't believe how much of my headspace that app was taking. And
Yeah.
and I thought I was like really enjoying being part of that app. And I do like love that app. But now I'm just like, no, it just consumes so much of me. It's not.
Yeah. It really isn't. And I think from a physical point of view, just absorbing that much information in one hit is really not good for you. I think your brain can only absorb 7 bits of information at one time. If you think about social media, you're
Mm,
just being hit. And I do that on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I need to declutter my house. Oh, I need to buy that jumper. Oh, I need to do a style challenge on it. I'm overwhelmed within 10 seconds of being on it. So, yeah, I've deleted Instagram as well. I deleted Facebook, but I went back on it just to go on a page that I wanted to put a question on. But I am going to come off that as well. I think I'm going to have this year as a social media cull break, whatever you want to call it. Because it isn't good, and it's taking my thought process somewhere that isn't even guided by me.
exactly. And I thought, because we've said this with the pod, haven't we? We've both struggled with doing social media for the pod. and we've just really felt it wasn't right. And I thought the only answer was to like completely delete the apps and just try and find a different path. But having deleted them, but still needing to interact because I'm running a business,
Yeah.
I'm finding that if I use them intentionally, in the sort of scheduling app, so like for the Facebook and Instagram, it's the Meta Business app. If I just use that app just for what I need to do for the business in a very intentional way, then it's fine. There's no temptation to scroll. You can't really interact with anything. You're just using it for what you need to. And then there's like groups that I want to interact with, like you said. And I've just set a certain time on a Tuesday where I'm like, right, that's my hour to go and interact with that group now. Because, there's other people I want to connect with and businesses I want to connect with in there. So I don't want to be without that. But I just find that if I'm intentional with it in a very kind of boundaried way, then I'll interact with it.
Yeah, that seems really good and logical. I think the work thing, because you're using the business suite, that's just probably become work now in your head, hasn't it, rather than scrolling. I'm just not sure I'm able to even commit to an hour a week. Once my phone is nearby, I do it without even thinking, which I think, lots of people do. So I'm going to delete it for now and see where we are with it. The good thing I've got is I've not got any work to do at the moment on social media, so it's fine for me to come off it. I think I might do that for a while and then
Mm.
see where we are then.
Yeah, it's a good idea. My scrolling as well has moved to desktop rather than on the phone because, again, I don't think I could trust myself if I just installed it back on the phone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that helps.
It's a bit harder for you to access it, so
Yeah.
you need to be more mindful about doing it. Yeah, I
And
mean,
scroll is not as simple, so you're not just kind of like drawn into it. Um, I mean, it's silly, really, isn't it, that we've got to do this? But if it works, this is what I'm going with for now. It's definitely helping my headspace.
yeah, definitely. And it is addictive. It's designed to be addictive. It's designed to give you content that you look at, so you keep looking. Yeah, which is worrying in itself, isn't it, really? But that's a whole other podcast.
Well, that's it. That's what we've got to be mindful of. And also, my friend Anna was telling me the other day, she sent me a video on Facebook, ironically, but the video was about comparing modern man to caveman and how many decisions caveman had to make compared to modern man and women, of course. But this video was about man. And when cavemen woke up, they had to make like two decisions. Do I go and look for food? Do I go and look for wood? By the time we're eating breakfast, like we've already made thousands of decisions.
Yeah,
I think it was at the end of every day, we've made like 36,000 decisions. And that
crazy, isn't it?
is, when you wonder why your mind's so busy.
Yeah. And yeah, I feel that. I feel like sometimes I'm just not overwhelmed, but my mind just does not close ever. I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning just to turn over, grab a drink, whatever.
Mm.
And I'm still thinking about things and making decisions in my head. It's not just rest. It's yeah. So maybe coming off social media will help with that.
Definitely, because it's still the same part of the brain and everything. Like, the brain hasn't developed from that time, but the world around us has. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, massively as well, hasn't it? If you think of how things were to how things are, it's crazy. So another a good thing that's come out of coming off social media to do with goals
Mm.
is that in the mornings I am kind of doing a miracle morning where I'm doing the magic at the moment. So the magic is a book by, is it Rona Byrne? Is it the same person who does The Secret? I think it is.
Rhonda.
Rhonda Byrne. And it's a 28-day gratitude practice. So I'm doing that at the moment with my friend Ian.
Mm.
Um, and I'm doing journaling after that. And as part of the journaling, I'm doing this goal setting, working on how to make 1 million in 5 years. So it's at the forefront of my brain first thing in the morning. And I'm able to do that and have the time to do that because I'm not lying in bed scrolling, which is what I do when I wake up, which is really not good. So yeah, the two are kind of going hand in hand. there's benefits to coming off social media, and it's giving me more time to do other things. It's a bit more positive and, intentional.
Yeah, yeah, and fulfilling. And good for your mind.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And it's spurring me on to kind of keep these goals at the front of my mind and make sure that, decisions you make during the day are kind of in line with the life you want to lead.
Yeah, it's a really good way to go about it. So I started mine off kind of really slowly and gently in my restful way of being. So just over Christmas, wanted to come up with a word for the year. I like doing
Oh,
it. So just sort of waited for it to come to me, really. So my word for the year is sacred.
oh,
Yeah. So it just came to me and I was like, oh, that's interesting. All right, I'm going to sit with that. And then I did a bit of journaling on it at the weekend to get a bit more like, well, what does that mean? And really, for me, I just think it's just treating everything in my life in a bit more of a sacred way. You might want to say like romanticizing it in another way, but just, approaching all my relationships as sacred, all my interactions, everything I do, really. And for me, that means like being very intentional about
hmm
everything, whether that intention is through lighting a candle and thinking about it or just putting a bit of thought into everything. So, yeah, I just really want to live a more sacred life. And I think for me, now that I'm a bit clearer on what that means, every day that word will kind of be at the forefront of my mind. And I'm thinking, well, how can I make this a bit more sacred? And I even lit a candle before we did the pod because I was thinking exactly that.
oh, boy. I like that. You had a word of the year last year as well. And I can remember yours, but for the life of me, I can't remember mine last year.
What was mine? Because I think it changed throughout the year. What do you think it was?
I think it started off as, and I can't remember what the one word was, but it was about being heard, being loud.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. Was it Shine?
I can't remember.
I remember. Yeah.
We should listen to the pod from last year and see what it was. But yeah, I can't for the life of me remember what mine was, and I've definitely not got one for this year. I still feel very, my mind feels very busy, and I'm really trying to get it to slow down, but it is not slowing down. I don't know why. Um, so yeah, I don't have a word for this year. Not yet, anyway. We'll see. We'll see as it progresses.
Yeah, it might come out as you go.
Yeah.
You never know. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, what's really good for slowing your mind down is
Go on.
obviously doing Nidra. And maybe we should do one together because the brain state that Nidra gets you to, you can't have like, I'm sure it's more than 2 or 3 thoughts a second.
Oh, that's where I need to be. It's funny because you did that sleep thing on the weekend, which you told me about last week, and you said I'm going to put it on social media. I think when we were doing our daily intentions, you were like, I need to do this today. And I thought, but I had in the back of my mind about the weather, I was going to come to your sleep thing on Saturday. I thought I can bring Charlotte, we can dump her with Iris, and I'll come and do that with you because I really felt like I needed that just to really, really, I feel like I need to go to a yoga class and well, Nidra would be perfect actually, just did the last bit of it. Yeah, the week isn't panning out to fit a yoga class into it. But yeah, maybe I might do that tonight.
Mm.
Do
Yeah.
a little Nidra in bed. I did one over Christmas actually, which was really nice. My mind wasn't particularly busy over Christmas though. It really is now, and I'm not entirely sure why, because it's not like I've got a million things to do. I've slowed down.
Just gets like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think maybe because last year was very busy physically. I was doing lots last year, and this year isn't. Maybe my mind's busier because I'm not doing it. I'm thinking about it. Whereas last year was all about doing. I don't know. I don't know. It does feel very busy though.
Mm. Yeah, some more mindfulness this week then to slow it down would be good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I might do a Nidra tonight. That'd be nice.
Mm. The other thing that I did was Manifestation Babe, who is one of my main manifestation people that I follow, did journal prompts for your goals over
Oh,
Christmas. I've not got all the way through them, but I've got through a good part. And there were things like you just kind of surveyed your year, a bit like the Mel Robbins stuff. Like, but the questions were like, what am I most proud of achieving the last year? How did I feel about last year? If you could go back and change anything, what would you? If you burn out, what, why? And what else? What was an area you experienced the most? I can't even read my own writing. The most joy with last year, that's it, or the most growth with last year, and how did it grow? And things like that. Where did you feel most challenged? Anything you want to let go of? And then the bit that I've got up to, because this just started being so big, was like the vision of your dream life. And I like this because she said, a genie appears and gives you unlimited wishes to create your most epic year in the next 12 months. What would you create? Describe every detail.
Wow. That is big. I think I struggle with big ones like that because it's a bit too much for me to think about. But I like the prompts. The prompts could probably get me there.
Yeah, exactly. If you did them like in flow with the prompts, they weren't too bad. But I must have written about 6 pages or something so far, and I kind of keep getting to the end of one bit, and I'm like, is that everything? Because that like it's just limitless, that isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything majorly audacious in there, really. I feel like this feels like the third time we've done goal setting on the pod. Probably is actually, isn't it? Are we going into our third year? Oh my
That's
God.
right there.
I think we are. And I feel like I've used a different process every single year because we evolve, we change. So
Yeah.
kind of new again for me, but I like it. I like to kind of dream big with it and keep it really open. So yeah, you can probably still get that guide online if people want to have a look at that as well.
It is. So February the 2nd was our first pod,
What year?
2023. So then we will have had, so we did goals then,
Yes.
and then we'll have done goals last year and obviously this year as well. So yeah, we are in our second year.
Yeah. Yeah, but our third lot of like goal setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we started at the beginning of the year. Yeah, and I'm the same. I've done it very differently. So the first year, if you remember, I used Moldavite and had a mental year. It just went wild and I achieved loads of stuff and
Mm.
it was like something was pushing me along. And it was like a roller coaster. Whereas last year, I feel like I had a really funny year last year because it was all about the house.
Mm.
And I feel like I've not come up for air from that really.
Yeah.
When you were saying about the prompts, I was thinking, you said what brought you joy last year? What are you most proud of? I can't think of a single answer to either of those questions because it was all just a bit of a slog. And I don't want to sound like first world problems. I'm very grateful that, I've got the money to do my house up, but I feel like it just took over my life and it was just head down, ass up, crack on without much. I know we did do stuff, obviously, we could listen to podcasts to know the good stuff that happened and there's more within it. But when I look at last year, that's all I can see. The house, builders in and out, and a list of things to do. That was all I did all year, really.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I'm feeling my mind's very busy now because I feel like there's lots of things that fell by the wayside last year that probably shouldn't have done. I need to pick them up this year. So, yeah.
Mm. Like you've got the space for more of the things that you didn't have last year.
Yeah, filled with a little bit of panic that, oh my God, there's loads of stuff that I've not done that I really need to crack on with. Slash, still trying to go at a slower pace. So, yeah, which all
all,
feels very overwhelming.
all in good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. And I think that's why I've done a 5-year goal
Yeah.
because I don't think I can do it any sooner. It needs to be manageable. And as well, I need to live at the same time. I feel like I didn't do much living last year. It was all the house.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, I want to get back to doing things that I love and bring me joy.
Mm.
as well as housey stuff and goal stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah, sounds like a good plan. I'm,
Yeah.
I had an audacious goal last year, which I think was like a 50K goal for my business, wasn't it? If you remember. So
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
I'm still working on that goal, but I do have like a breakdown of like how that's achievable, what kind of stuff I'd need to do within the business for that. So it's moving along. I think I need to come back to it because the business is like kind of so organically and intuitively moving that
Yeah.
like those plans don't always keep up with it. But I need to do like a regular check-in really and come back to that to make sure
Yeah.
I'm on track.
And maybe if you did it a bit more businessy
Yeah.
rather than intuitively,
Mm,
all that would really mean is if you looked at your figures on a weekly basis,
yeah.
you go in, I just need to fill two more places.
Mm,
That might give you the impetus to put an extra post on social media or reach out to people. And if you just did that, so it doesn't have to be gung ho, oh my God, I've got loads and loads of stuff to do to hit these goals. You need to do it in a way that suits you. And maybe that would suit you. Just go in, this is where I am. This is actually where I need to be. And there's not that much in it. So just push it that little bit and do your like 1% incremental
mm,
rather than going, I need to do an extra class with 10 people in it, which might feel a bit unachievable or daunting.
yeah.
Just do it gradually and just keep an eye on your figures.
Yeah, that would be a good way to break it down really and do it a bit more of a restful, not like gung
Yeah,
kind of way.
exactly. Yeah, more restful, more aligned with you and
Mm,
what you're about.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I will give that a go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I share any of my goals for this year? I don't think.
No,
No.
just about to ask you that.
Yeah. So I think because they're all like smallish, I really want an electric car this year. That's an easy one to relate to, isn't it?
It is.
I would love to replace our car, so that's one. I've put goals about doing like lovely stuff with the kids. Like Iris is really into the theatre now, so I want to do lots of theatre experiences with her this year. And George is a real foodie, so I want to do some foodie experiences with him. But yeah, there's just loads. I'm manifesting a pilgrimage for Yoga Nidra. That I suppose is quite a big one to me.
You told me about that actually.
Mm.
Yeah, at Christmas.
Yeah, that's kind of ever present. It is in about a month, so it might not happen this year, that one, but it will happen.
You never know. It might not be the one that you thought of. Something else might come along that you don't even yet know about.
Exactly. But what's quite nice is I think for a few years I've put like retreat on my goals list, but been very unspecific, and nothing really has sort of sung to me as much as this kind of pilgrimage has, as like a big kind of getaway and just sort of, I don't know, experience new things kind of way. So yeah, maybe something more like this will
Yeah.
come to fruition.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Hmm. So we shall see. There were some other things that I thought I would recommend to people who are working on their goals. I probably mentioned a few. The Magic Book. If you've never really done goal setting, then the Magic's such a good one to start with, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It focuses you and gives you a little task every day to do and
Mm.
makes you think about gratitude.
Yeah.
Today is money magic.
Mm.
I'll tell you my funny story about money. So I'm doing it with Ian. So I've been checking in with him every morning. Keep forgetting he's in the office and can't listen to my long-winded voice notes, but that doesn't deter me from sending them. So this morning I went swimming. I've got a little coin token thing for the locker. And this morning, for the first time ever, when I opened the locker, the coin just pinged out
Mm.
and disappeared somewhere. And I was like, oh, for God's sake. It's not worth anything, obviously, but I know that if I lose it, I'm never going to have a pound to go swimming for the locker. I'm going to get down there. I'm going to forget I've got it. It's just going to be a whole faff. So I was like, right, okay. So I got my hands and knees to look under the lockers to find it. Didn't find it, but I found a pound coin. So I thought, oh, that's very like auspicious today. I'm doing the money magic. And I've wrote this morning how easily money comes to me, and already I found £1 less than an hour later. Turned around and found my token as well. So I was like, yay, I've got my token and I've got £1. Went to the car, left a voice note for Ian, and while I was recording it, I was like, yeah, I found £1. What have I done with it? Where's the pound? Where's it gone? I've lost it. So I sent him another message about when we receive money to be truly grateful for it and intentional about what we do with it,
Mm.
because I've literally lost it in the car somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it.
Oh, that's an interesting lesson all in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it did make me laugh. It will be somewhere and I will look for it, but the effort I'll need to go to look for it, and it is £1.
Yeah.
It's just quite ironic. So yeah, if we do come into money and we feel grateful for it, we also need to be intentional about what we do with that money. Otherwise, we'll just lose it.
Yeah, it's really true, isn't it? It's really true. Which one of the money books is it that talks a lot about that? About what you do with it. I think it might be one of the Kate Northrup ones. About talks through a lot of the stories of people that have come into a lot of money who weren't intentional with it and what happens to them.
It's just gone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I always forget how much money stuff is in the magic. Yeah, and I love the gratitude bubble from the magic as well. Like it's just a beautiful headspace to get into, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And again, you're doing it first thing in the morning, so it does kind of stay with you all day. It's nice. And because you're doing something different every day, it's a different subject or category, it's just making you wholly grateful for your entire life, really.
Yeah, that's good. I am pretty good with my gratitude practice at the minute, but what you've made me think is that I want to get the magic out and do some of the money chapters because I've heard your message this morning and you said you were doing money magic, and I thought, oh, that's great. And then I found 5p in my coat pocket, and I was like, yes, money. Just got that
Yeah, where it is.
I put it in my purse.
There we are.
Mm.
That's all we need to do. Lesson for Louise.
It's safe and sound. So yeah, maybe I'll just grab a couple of those money chapters and do them this week because goodness knows at this time of year we could all do with that good reminder to be very grateful for money and
Yeah,
abundance.
absolutely. Yeah, January.
Mm,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's all good.
Yeah, it is. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh yeah, there's a really good diary which my friend Leonie bought me for Christmas last year called The Magic of I. And it has weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly goals like spread throughout it in a really lovely way. So if you're like a diary person and you want your goals like ever present and like be totally on top of them, I would really, really recommend that. It's a really gorgeous diary as well, full of like astrology and moon stuff too. It's beautiful.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that does sound good.
Mm. Yeah, it is. So that's all my goal setting tips. Did you have any more, Louise?
No, not really. So I think just do everything that we're doing, which is back to basics: eat well, rest, exercise, be intentional,
Mm, yeah.
do everything that we already do. Be grateful for what we've got, be thankful for what we've got, and everything will just come good.
Mm,
And I read something online this morning about goals, about how do you set them and also kind of wait for the universe to let them happen. And somebody compared it to putting in a pizza order. You order your pizza and then you just wait for it. You don't worry about how they're going to make it, when it's going to come to you, what time it's coming, what's on it, da da da. You just know it's going to arrive, and
yeah.
kind of do the same with goals.
Yeah.
Know that they're going to come and do some things towards them, but don't worry about it unnecessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. And also like yeah, don't rush out and think you've got to do them all now. Like really remember that it's winter and you don't need to rush into them. This is the time to set the goals and plant the seeds, isn't it? It's not the like go get this all done right now. That's not what we're saying at all. It's just like be the dreamer of your dreams, the maker of your life, be in charge of it by setting the course yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes the longer they take, the more you enjoy it.
Yeah.
rather than, the instant gratification of using Moldavite and it coming immediately. You don't always appreciate that quite as much as something that you've really worked towards.
Exactly. And if you're doing everything at a really fast pace, yeah, you've not really got the time to stop and smell the roses and appreciate it all, have you?
Exactly. And that's really important too, to live the life you want alongside it. It's not, I'm going to sound like a twat saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's not the destination, it's the journey as well. They go hand in hand. So yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. And, just take note from winter. Like, I mean, I had a really frustrating last week with the snow. I'm sighing because it was a really like long week where we weren't able to go anywhere and do anything and school closures and all the rest of it. And I'm normally so grateful for nature, but you have got to listen to it. Try not to get as frustrated as I am in this moment, but I think that's just I need to get out of town now. A long time kind of frustration. But, use nature as your guide of, slowing down still. It's still snowing, it's still cold, it's still time to rest. So yeah, do some goal setting, but then go and have a nap. Go for a swim and then go and have a nap.
Do you know what? I've got 20 minutes after this podcast. I'm going to do Nidra now. I'm going to find a 10-minute yoga Nidra and just lie on the sofa
Yeah.
while it's quiet. I've got quite a busy afternoon. Yeah, I'm going to do that now.
Brilliant. I'm going to go and do the same. Well, good work on the pod. Go rest, everyone. All right. We will see you all soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us today on the Manifestation Pod. We hope you feel inspired to start creating the life that you've been dreaming of.
Remember, we're all in this together and we'd love for you to be part of our community. So don't forget to subscribe, share and connect with us on socials.
We're here every 2 weeks, so catch us next time with more tips and tools to help you manifest the life you deserve.
Until then, keep believing, keep manifesting and keep living that extraordinary life. Bye.
Bye.